Hi, I'm John,
And I'm Amanda.
and we're the Ricos. So to go back on the bad decisions that I made, I was unfaithful. I was unfaithful to my wife. And for a short amount of time, it felt good. But what I realized very quickly is that the love that I had for my wife, for my kids, that's what I was sacrificing. I was being so selfish. But at that time, that's not what I felt. At that time, I thought I was doing the right thing. At that time, there was no other path that I thought would have led me to happiness than what I was doing each and every day at that time and in that season. So I think for us, as we hit rock bottom, we realized that we could not fix this anymore.
No.
The problems that we had, there was nothing that we could do, and we had to throw up our hands and go somewhere else.
Yeah, and it was a very hard journey. Like, nothing about the journey was easy. We were in this season for over a year. So John was in another relationship for an entire year, and I had no idea. And part of that year, I was actually pregnant with our child, which was separate from the child that I had from a previous relationship. And so, as most women in your pregnancy, you're excited. This is a new season. This is where you're putting together a nursery, you're picking items for registry, you're taking maternity photos together, and you're saying to yourself, this is going to be the best year of my life. And it was after our son was born is when it kind of all came crashing down. There was one night where I had decided to say, John, I really want you to go out and just enjoy the night because I know you've been working quite a lot, and I just really want you to just get away. And so he did as I said. And something just inside of me stirred up and said, something's not right. And I never really had an insecurity or a reason to kind of go and see what's going on. But that night I decided to check his Apple Watch because there was a message that came through. And that's where everything was revealed to me, that there was a relationship and there was another woman on the other side of that device. And I didn't know what to do. I was afraid, I was scared, I was lost. I was literally, like, all the emotions you can think of hit me all at one time. And I remember being inside the room. I remember having the device in my hands, and I remember like my blood just hitting every part of my body and my heart start racing and not knowing what to do or say. And so I grabbed my son and we got in the car and I just drove. I drove and I drove and I drove till I found myself in the parking lot of a store. And I was crying because at that moment I said, how could this happen to me? I had no idea. I feel like my life is over and I don't know who to go to. And so I didn't know who to go to because I was ashamed, because this was not what I expected. I thought that we were in a really good place. I felt like my husband was perfection. I really put him at another level, like I held him to a high standard. And I couldn't believe it, but it was in my face, it was reality. And so I didn't have family to call because I didn't want to call family. I didn't call my friends because I didn't want to call my friends because I was embarrassed. And so I remember sulking in the parking lot. And of course, I called him to address the concern, and that didn't help the situation. If anything, it probably made it a lot worse than what it needed to be. And so that was the moment where all of the things of my past and what I had carried from previous relationships and insecurities started to come out. And I literally heard voices in my head saying, nobody wants you. Nobody will ever want you. You will always be a single mother, and you're gonna be a single mom, not only to one child, but now to another child. And at that moment, I was like, God, why me? Why did this happen to me? And I felt like there was nothing else I could do but cry and pray.